When you're releasing music, there's a lot more to think about than just writing the perfect song or laying down a great vocal. Behind the scenes, there's a whole system in place that makes sure your music is properly tracked, reported, and paid for. One of the most important tools in that system is something most people outside the industry don't even think about: the barcode. More specifically, we're talking about ISRCs and UPCs, two types of codes that are critical for every music release. Let's start with the basics. What is a barcode in music? When you hear the word barcode, you might picture the black and white stripes on a can of soda or a box of cereal. And in many ways, music barcodes are similar. They're unique identifiers used to track your music, help with reporting, and make sure everything you release can be found, measured, and paid correctly. There are two kinds of barcodes used in music: the ISRC, International Standard Recording Code, and the UPC, Universal Product Code. First, let's look at ISRCs. An ISRC is like a digital fingerprint for a single song or recording. It's a unique code assigned to each individual track you release. Think of it this way: if you release one song, that song gets one ISRC. If you release a remix of the same song, it gets a different ISRC. If you release a live version, again, it gets a new ISRC. Why? Because each version is a unique recording, and each recording needs its own identifier. This helps track plays, collect royalties, and ensure that every version of your song earns what it's supposed to. Now, what about UPCs? The UPC, or Universal Product Code, is a barcode that applies to an entire product. If the ISRC is for individual songs, the UPC is for the whole release. That means if you're releasing an EP with 4 tracks, the EP itself will have one UPC. Each of the 4 songs will also have their own ISRCs. The UPC helps platforms, stores, and streaming services track your release as a complete unit. It's essential for keeping things organized and making sure your full project is cataloged and reported correctly. So why do you need both? Because they work together. ISRCs track your music on a song-by-song basis. They help performance rights organizations, streaming services, and download platforms know exactly which track is being played. They're used for royalty payments, chart tracking, and usage reports. UPCs, on the other hand, track the whole release. They're used when your EP, album, or single is sold or streamed as a package. They help your music appear in searches, get categorized properly, and ensure you show up on charts and reports correctly. Without ISRCs and UPCs, your music is invisible to the systems that pay you. You might still upload your songs, but there'd be no accurate way to report usage or send money your way. That's why every serious artist needs to understand these codes. At DistroBolt, we make sure you're covered. When you release music through our platform, we provide both ISRCs and UPCs for free inside your account. You don't have to apply for them, pay extra, or figure out how to use them. We take care of that for you. Every track you upload gets its own ISRC. Every release gets its own UPC. And everything is delivered automatically to the platforms that need them. Why is this important? Because there are distributors that charge extra for these codes. They'll ask for a payment per track or per release. And sometimes they won't give them to you at all, you have to bring your own. That creates confusion. That leads to missing data. And that can mean lost royalties. With DistroBolt, it's all included. No extra fees. No paperwork. No hassle. And remember, once a code is assigned, it stays with that recording forever. You don't recycle ISRCs. You don't reuse UPCs. If you accidentally upload the same song twice under different codes, it can split your streaming numbers and cause issues with your royalties. That's why it's important to use a platform that understands the details and handles them right from the start. Let's go deeper. Each ISRC is made up of 12 characters. It starts with a 2-letter country code, followed by a 3-character registrant code, that's you or your distributor, then 2 digits for the year of release, and finally a 5-digit designation code that's unique to each track. For example, an ISRC might look like US ABC 24-00001. Every part of that code has meaning, and it helps ensure that your track is correctly identified across hundreds of platforms worldwide. The UPC is a 12-digit number that's attached to the whole product. When your album appears in a store or on a digital platform, the UPC helps identify it as a single unit. That's how stores report sales. That's how streaming platforms know which project is generating plays. And that's how your distributor knows what to pay you. Another reason barcodes matter: music charts. Want to chart on iTunes, Spotify, or Billboard? You need proper barcodes. Without ISRCs and UPCs, your music can't be properly tracked, which means your sales and streams won't count toward chart placement. It's one of those invisible but critical steps to professional music distribution. And what about metadata? Your ISRC and UPC codes are part of your release's metadata. The information that tells platforms who you are, what your music is, who wrote it, and how it should be categorized. If your metadata is missing or incorrect, you could lose royalties, confuse listeners, or even have your music removed. Proper barcodes help make sure your metadata is clean and correct. At DistroBolt, we don't just hand you the codes, we help you understand them. Our free video support in English or Norwegian is available on demand. So if you're confused about barcodes, unsure where they go, or need help organizing your releases, we're here to help. Real people, real answers, real results. We also include barcodes in all our strategic planning. When we help you prepare a 6 to 8 week release plan, barcodes are already in place. They're embedded in your uploads. They're sent to the platforms. Everything is set up for accurate tracking and maximum earnings. That means you can focus on what you do best, making music, while we handle the technical stuff. We've seen artists come to us after releasing with other platforms and realizing their music wasn't earning what it should. They didn't know about ISRCs. They didn't have a UPC. Or worse, they had the wrong ones. And fixing that after the fact? It's hard. Sometimes impossible. That's why we handle it all from the beginning. Correct codes. Clean metadata. No mistakes. And again, this isn't just about money. It's about professionalism. Labels, collaborators, and industry pros will take you more seriously if your releases are clean, consistent, and correctly coded. It shows you're organized, shows you care, and it opens doors. If you've never thought about barcodes before, now's the time. Because every stream, every sale, every royalty depends on these invisible codes working behind the scenes. With DistroBolt, you never have to worry about that. We've got you covered. Create your free account today. Upload when you're ready. Pay €3.89 for singles, €8.98 for EPs and albums. Anything with more than 3 tracks. Get full support. Keep 90% of your royalties. Keep your rights. Stay in control. And let us handle the barcodes. Because professional music deserves professional tools. Barcodes aren't just codes. They're keys to your success. Make sure you're using the right ones. Make sure you're using DistroBolt. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this.